Hello everyone, how are you? Thank you so much for coming along. My name is Mark. I'd also like to introduce you to my colleague Susan. Susan is going to help us with questions because we want to hear from you, and some people are sending questions through online, which is fantastic. So some people are watching us or listening to us, so welcome to all of those people too. Also with me is Rachel. This is Rachel and Kale. And Rachel and Kale are currently doing the Diploma of Musical Theatre at NIDA. So I have just at very short notice roped them in because I think it's good for you to hear from some of the students as well as from me. Now I know you're all interested in the year-long Diploma of Musical Theatre. Is that right? Is anyone in the wrong room? That's all good. And after this, I think you should go directly to rehearsal room 7, where some of the students in the course are doing a bit of singing. So we'll try and make sure to remind you that that's where you should go straight after this, because you'll want to hear a bit of singing. And I think you're going to join in, maybe. Maybe. See how you go. Good. So again, welcome. The Diploma of Musical Theatre at NIDA is a year-long course. Now, just before we talk in too much detail about the course, I would like to acknowledge that NIDA exists on the lands of the Eora Nation, the Bidjigal and Gadigal people, and I would like to pay my respects to elders past, present and future, and welcome any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us here today. So I would like to make that acknowledgement and welcome. And that means we can now get into our information on the course. It's a very funny picture I know up there. That was from the showcase last year. It looks a little bit comic, but it was a comic number. As you can see, a little bit outrageous. The showcase happens at the end of the course, and that's a still from that course. So it's a year-long, 4 days a week. We do that deliberately so that you can either do your own private study on the Friday, or for some students it's very important to have a part-time job or to get together with family or do other things Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a big commitment, 4 days a week for pretty much a whole year, 3 teaching terms. Can I ask, Kale, how have you found that, that structure, that 4 days a week? Has that been good for you? Was that one of the things that you thought, yes, I can manage 4 days, or just tell us a bit about that experience maybe?
Well, the 4-day structure is really, really great because it's really intensive and you're doing hours and hours of singing, dancing, acting every day. And so on that Friday, it's really helpful because you just get that day to either relax or just do something for yourself, which is really, really important because it can be very, very draining putting your all into all the classes. So yeah, 100% is a really, really good structure for the course.
That's good. It's important for us here at NIDA to offer a slight range of offerings because we know that that there are different needs. You know, students have different needs and like to study in slightly different ways. Some of you may be interested in our 3-year BFA acting course, which does have a singing specialism. It's called the Singing Actor. That is a different course to this one. This one, we really try and give you a third, you know, singing, dancing and acting. NIDA's very known for its acting, so we make sure that we have some what we call pure acting classes in the course. That might make us a little different from some education providers that offer a Diploma of Musical Theatre. For us, the acting is really important. Rachel, how have you found the acting stuff, either the impro classes or any of the acting-related classes that you've had? You've had Simon a bit, you've had Holly for impro, you're doing a little bit of screen work this term. What's it like not to sing and not to dance and to focus on the acting?
I think at first it was a bit confronting, because I think you like to think that you know what you're doing, but it really like opens you up and you realise how much there is to learn about acting and how important it is when it comes to musical theatre. Improv has been fun, but this term we've moved into devising, so it's sort of longer form and takes more time, and it's just been really fun to collaborate with others in the class. So it's been really good, yeah. I've
Thank
enjoyed it a lot.
you. Let me see what's on the next slide. I think we've spoken about those three broad discipline areas. We really think it's important to develop the physical skills, so the dancing skills and the singing skills and the acting skills for the duration of the year. And at different times of the year, sometimes the weighting is slightly different, but all three skills are really essential for moving forwards with musical theatre study. So that's definitely the broad structure. And I think actually the slides are also reminding us pretty much what we've said, that we take the acting side of it pretty seriously here, you know, and that's why we like to at times drop the singing and the dancing. And I think it's a whole other experience, and it must feel very different when you're then either creating something or you are responding to scripts as a performer. I think the other thing that I'd like to let you know is that what's unique to NIDA is that within this very one building we have directors, designers, writers, technicians, costume makers, actors, musical theatre people. And one of the truly wonderful things that happens here is you get to meet people from a whole range of specialisms, even though you're here doing, you know, in your room, regular classes. There are opportunities to meet other students, other staff, and at times to collaborate formally with other cohorts. Kale and Rachel are about to go into a process that is going to be a collaboration between 65 of NIDA's students. So we're collaborating with the Masters of Fine Art Directing. They're going to create a cabaret with the musical theatre students. It's also going to have involvement from NIDA's BFA Design, and it's also going to have involvement from NIDA's, two of NIDA's other diploma courses, the makeup and the technical. So you can imagine how exciting it is to create something with other cohorts around NIDA, and why we like to do that is not just to challenge you, but you know, the industry is about working with others and about collaborating with others. So we like to fold that into the training here. It's important to train you and your individual skills and knowledge and try and, you know, make sure we advance each of those things individually. But I think wherever we can, working with others really prepares us for what it's like out there in the industry, when often we meet people and very quickly we have to be comfortable in working with them, collaborating, and we're all, you know, united in a common goal of putting on a show. So I think that's what those collaborations help us do. Are you excited about the upcoming cabaret?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. I think we've covered that one, don't you think? I really want to get to your questions because I know time is limited. Let's have a look. Yeah, spoken dialogue, acting styles. You know, sometimes we do this term, for example, it sounds like it should be straightforward, but it's quite challenging. We've done what we call song and dance, where we have a singing teacher and a dance teacher together with the students so that they're learning the music and then learning a dance routine and having to advance both at the same time, because in term one we kind of separated things. There was singing, there was dancing, there was acting. Then in term two we start to fold those in together to prepare for term three, where we're really having to be, you know, capable of advancing all of those things together. It's a little bit more about the structure of the course. And again, we said we were very lucky that we get to collaborate with other students and other staff here at NIDA, but NIDA's also so fortunate in that we get access to a lot of really terrific people from the industry. So we get people in Sometimes we can't control how long they're with us. We thought we had Simon Burke for a bit longer, didn't we? Yeah. So Simon Burke is an amazing musical theatre performer who was in Pippin recently. And Simon is a fantastic teacher and a great inspiration to the students. And Simon came to join us for some masterclasses. And we have had him for some, but now he's gone off to do Moulin Rouge the musical, hasn't he? So we don't get him that often. What's it been like to have someone like Simon, who comes to us from industry, doing some sessions with you? Has that been challenging?
It's been a little bit challenging because you see these amazing, amazing performers who are so relevant in the industry, and you initially have to get over the initial, oh my God, that's Simon Burke, I have to control myself. And then it's just, overall, it's an amazing experience because they are people who are working in the industry, and so they're up to date, they know what's going on, and they have that credibility behind them. So you know that what you're being taught is relevant and you're going to be able to use that yourself in the future.
Good, thank you. Let's see what else is on the slides. Ah, yes, we mentioned it. And Adora, who is in the picture, if you're interested, straight after this talk, Adora is doing a little bit of singing in rehearsal room 7. So I know I'm going to be there straight after this. I want to hear Adora sing. Adora was with us last year, and that is a picture from one of the presentations she did last year. That's in fact the cabaret, that one there. But the slide tells us that your year at NIDA culminates in a showcase. Now, because your time with us in the Diploma of Musical Theatre is 1 year, you can't get to do lots of shows. We can't fit them into a year. But what you do is you have this terrific showcase at the end of the year that we invite agents, managers, directors, producers, performers to, because it's a wonderful way to find out from people who are working whether we're even on track, whether there's anything we need to know about what's happening in the industry that can impact on our course. And it's a wonderful way also for graduating students to start to talk to and get to know people from industry. So there usually isn't room to do shows, although I've just thought both Rachel and Cale have been fortunate enough to, well, they've decided they can fit it in, have been working on one of the BFA productions, which is Perfect Stranger. So if you come and see the show Perfect Stranger, it's a BFA third-year acting production with a whole lot of collaborative elements from all over across NIDA, but some of the musical theatre students are performing in it. So how's that been, Rachel? Has it been... I know that was kind of something that you thought would be a great opportunity, but how have you been able to juggle being in that show and doing your classwork? Has that been manageable?
I think yes, especially, again, given that we have 4 days and not the full 5, it's made it a lot more reasonable. But it's just been a really friendly experience, and it's just been really informative, and working with Kate Champion, it's just been amazing. I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing.
Fantastic.
Would you say no to that? I don't think so.
And again, it's just we really look out for opportunities. If you're here at NIDA for a year, or if you're here for 3 years, any of the courses, we make sure we look out for opportunities. We bring people from industry in. We try and collaborate across cohorts. We're really lucky that NIDA is that kind of place where a lot happens within these doors. Let's see what's next. Okay, the course fees, a lot of money. We know that to study post-secondary school these days is very expensive. There is a government loan to students who are eligible. If you're interested in accessing that loan, and most students do, go onto the website and click the link that takes you to all of the criteria. That's the way most people undertake, pay for their tuition fees, is through the loan. Some people choose to what we call pay up front and pay each term, their term fees. So everybody's situation is different. and we are able to come up with what we call is a payment plan if the schedule of fees, it's published on the NIDA website, have a good look at it. If that schedule is not suitable for you, we can discuss alternative arrangements. So that's just a little bit of information on the tuition fees. And in terms of your audition, I'm happy to say that this year NIDA has dropped the application fee. So there is no $75 fee that you have to pay in order to apply. Our CEO, Liz Hughes, has decided to drop that fee. So what you need to do is brush up a couple of songs, and we always go a couple because we like you to choose slightly different kinds of material. We might have something that's light and fun and something that's a bit more dramatic. You choose. But what's most important is that it's something you really enjoy doing. Kale, how did you go about choosing what you did for your audition? How did you go about choosing it, the material?
Well, I knew that I needed to choose something that showed off different aspects of me as a performer. And so I decided to choose Giants in the Sky from Into the Woods and What Would I Do from Falsettos. And Giants in the Sky is this really fun, bubbly piece about a child growing into a man, and then What Would I Do is this really devastating song about the loss of a partner. And they are both very vocally different, very musically different, and so I would 100% recommend choosing pieces that show off not only you as a person and you as a performer, but also just things that kind of show that you also understand that there is variety within what we do as musical theatre performers.
But I also think, like, you have to make sure that, like, it's something that you truly enjoy, and so that they can see that through what you pick.
Absolutely.
Because you're doing it because you love it. You might as well show that.
Thank you both.
So,
That's really helpful. Okay, I really want to hear from you because you're here because you have an interest. So we're going to open it up to questions, I do believe. And I know Susan is probably receiving some of them online. Is that right?
Hello. Hello. Thank you. So I have some questions here online, but would also like to open it up to the audience as well. If you do have a question, if you'd like to put up your hand and we'll be able to ask. Absolutely. We have somebody here.
What does the audition process actually look like?
Thank you. What does the audition process look like? Initially, we expect there's a lot of interest in our courses here at NIDA, which is fantastic. And again, thank you all so much for your interest. But we can only take around 22, absolute maximum 24 people each year. So that means that initially we're going to watch your 2 songs on video. So this year you have to record your 2 songs and a bit of an introduction. Tell us about yourself, who you are, what you're interested in. Tell us those things in a 5-6 minute video, and then all things going according to plan, we then meet with people in the room for what we call callbacks. And it's always a tricky thing, isn't it? Because we have genuinely so many amazing young people apply for this course, and you can't know what it is that we're looking for in terms of how do we actually select those 22 or 24 people. So I wouldn't stress about it because there's nothing you can do about that. We really are. There's a whole stack of people here at NIDA that watch those videos, that give feedback. We have big discussions about who we think is going to benefit from the training in the year ahead. So you can't second guess that. You don't know what teachers we've planned got coming in, what production opportunities there are for NIDA. These are all things that help us decide who should come in. So our decision as to who to see for a callback is as much about ensuring that we invite people in from a range of experience levels, a range of backgrounds, with a range of interests, as it is about any perceived ability. So I think the best advice we can give you is really have fun, enjoy performing in that video, and that's the best that you can do, because you can't kind of worry about what the people looking at the video are going to be thinking. And really, really believe this fact that if we're not able to offer you a place on the course, that it has as much to do with the community that we're looking for in that year as it has to do with anything else. I really encourage you not to think of, I'm not this or I'm not that, or, Honestly, so many extraordinary, talented people apply for the course. We really can, unfortunately, only take a small number. And I'm happy to say some people come back and then we go in the following year and we go, you know what? The year that we've got planned ahead, we know you're going to get a lot out of and you're going to contribute a lot to. So I would do it at least a couple of times. I don't know.
Brilliant. Wonderful. So is it okay if you have more experience in singing and acting than dancing?
That's such a good question. And rest assured, we really want to advance all three skills, but some people are in the course this year for whom dance is a big challenge, and for some people who are in the course for which singing and advancing their singing is a big challenge, and for some it is the acting and who find acting is a big challenge. So we like to mix it up. You don't have to be proficient, shall we use that word, in singing, dancing and acting. We will develop your skills in singing, dancing and acting, and we definitely want you to have advanced all of those skills significantly by the end of the year. But I would say the year started with quite a mix of levels of ability, and in fact in term one with some of the dance classes we decided to have separate the group so we could advance the dance in the appropriate way for each hub.
Brilliant. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes.
When auditioning with your two songs in like video form, is it compulsory to have choreography or is it like optional?
I'm going to take your word optional because I want you to do with it what gives you most pleasure. Some people, act, connect with their audience through movement as well as song. Some people are very still and sing. It's up to you. If we're able to see you, bring you back to NIDA and have what we call is a callback, we will then do some dancing together. And as I say, even if you feel, I can sing, I think I can act, my dancing really challenges me, I think so long as you are open and receptive to the choreography that we give you at the session, then it may go well for you. However, having said that, some people are phenomenal dancers when they come into the course. We've got some really terrific, strong dancers, and a couple of those people might want to show us that on their video. If you go, what's my strength? I want to show these NIDA people what I think I can do. And if that's dancing, then I think put that down on video up front. Don't just think you've got to do the two songs. I'd be showing a bit of dance if that's what you can do.
Hi. Besides the application of student loans, are there any scholarships offered for this course?
Thank you. Very good question. And NIDA is working so hard to increase the number of scholarships that are currently available to students in all courses. At the moment, there is no Diploma of Musical Theatre scholarship, and we're all hoping that in the near future we may be able to address that. So at the moment, there aren't any for this course.
What does the dance training actually look like throughout the course?
Good question. Who wants to answer that? What did it look like in term one?
In term one, we focused on jazz, ballet, and tap.
Yes.
And
And can I throw in a bit of acro as well?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
acro.
It's not dance, but it's one of your physical.
Yes, acro. Also ballet is also Pilates as well. We do a bit of both in that class, which is nice. Yeah.
I think what's essential in term one is to really develop core skills and to develop a real attitude towards the discipline of dance. As the year moves on, we tend to bring in a variety of styles and different contexts, and that really will kick off in term 3 as well. But I think, this year you've done a lot of tap,
Yeah, it's been good.
and the acro sometimes people are surprised about, weekly acrobatics classes, but that is so beneficial. It's such a beneficial discipline and really helps you with it helps, I think, you with your singing and your acting as well, because it's a way of approaching things. And we're very lucky to have a terrific acro teacher, Troy, who's an expert in that area, isn't he? Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Is there a reason why there's no Bachelor of Musical Theatre yet, or are you planning to have one in the near future?
Yeah, no, very good question. And I've just been asked to repeat it. Is there a Bachelor of Musical Theatre available at NIDA? None is planned. NIDA's 3-year Bachelor of Arts course has probably in the last decade done a couple of different things with its musical theatre aspect. I can say that for almost all of its life, singing is a part of the 3-year BFA course, but not so much dance and not so much musical theatre. The current stream that's called the Singing Actor is probably only 3 years old. For the 5 years before those 3 years, there was no singing actor stream. So we test, as we do with all our courses, we test what might be ways to assist, talented young people to move forward in the entertainment arts. But as far as I know, the Bachelor of Arts in Acting will remain just that. It's an acting course, but I think it does have a little bit of room to advance some skills for people who are interested in that area. And probably, I think they do their elective, I don't even know if elective is the right word, but their specialism, their stream, probably on a Friday. So that gives you an idea. They would do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday acting. Don't hold me to this. Talk to John if you need specifics. But I think the specialism is a smaller part of the training, whereas our reason for being is really to go as much as we can, a third. This course, to be perfectly honest, before we introduced it to NIDA, we were talking to musical theatre producers, and they said, why does NIDA not have a 1-year dedicated musical theatre course? Because we need you to find people who are really passionate in those areas and advance them so that we can start to take people who have that orientation towards musical theatre. The BFA in acting, the singing actors, possibly are not as interested in what the form of musical theatre, I can't speak for everyone there, as we would be in the musical theatre diploma. It's a very specific specialism. What's your question?
I know this morning I was here for the talk for acting, and they have like a set list of monologues that have to be done. Is there a reason that this is like own choice or?
Yes, so the question is for the audition materials, why the slight difference? BFA, if you want to do 3 years of NIDA of BFA, it's a slightly different, I suppose, mindset to doing a year. And I think if you're here at a BFA level, which is a higher qualification, I understand very much why John and his team are quite prescriptive about the kinds of materials they want you to present at the audition. Our course is certainly no less intensive in our 1 year. As I keep saying, it's full-time, 4 days a week for 1 year. We can fit a lot into that year. We are more open for this course to have you present to us materials from a greater range of, styles. It can be something you've created. It can be something you've done at school if you feel good about it. We would rather that you present for your audition material something that you just feel great about, you feel confident with, than us for this course giving you stuff and saying we need you to learn this. For this course, that is not a requirement. Does that answer your question?
What sort of career paths are possible with participating in this course?
Yeah, career path. We often say, you know, it leads to musical theatre, to cabaret, but it can also lead to acting. We've just folded in some screen acting classes into the term because we did that for the first time at the end of last year, and all the students said to me, this is fantastic. And one of our teachers too, Philip, tells us that the rhythms of screen and musical theatre are very interconnected, and there's so many performers these days moving between different media. So I think there's probably going to be more of the screen acting brought into it, which may surprise some of you, but we think it's a very healthy thing to test and to grow in. And I think it therefore prepares you for a range of potential work opportunities. You know, Adora, who we're going to go and see in rehearsal room 7 in a minute, hopefully they're still there, has gone into, she did for the Hayes Theatre, a development of a musical, so that was something that she did. She just told me today too, she's now going to be in a couple of ads on the telly, you know, she was sent along to auditions for ads. So it shows you that the skills that you pick up in the course can lend themselves to, you know, different kinds of work opportunities.
We have a couple of more questions. Thanks, Ash. We have here, if school grades aren't looking great at the moment, will that affect the chances of getting in?
The short answer is we're less interested in your academic background than we are in what you bring to your materials. If you enjoy, feel good about, have confidence with, are able to entertain and connect with audiences, that's what we like to see. We're not so interested in your, you know, what you achieved in high school.
One more. Can you apply for multiple courses at NIDA? For example, the Bachelor in Acting and the Diploma Musical Theatre.
Thank you for that question, and the answer is yes. I think in life it's good to keep your options open. You know, if you think, I want to do this performance thing, I really enjoy it, or I think I've got abilities in it, I think go for as many different possible versions of that as you can, and consider then later on which one might be the best fit for you. It's like you're doing today. Come and meet people. You know, those auditions, if we're able to meet you in person face to face, you're auditioning us as much as we're auditioning you. You might want to go, I don't want to spend a year of my life with these people in a room. Or you might go, no, that seems okay. I think I want to do that. So let's give the last word to Kale and Rachel. How did you find the audition process in terms of, you know, meeting staff? Was it good to meet some staff from the course when you came and met with us, or Zoomed with us, whichever way happened?
I think we both Zoomed, didn't we?
Yeah.
We both Zoomed because we're from Melbourne.
It was a COVID year last year. We did less face-to-face, as you remember. You know, we were restricted with what we could do face-to-face. So we did a number of the callbacks via Zoom.
Yeah.
It was really interesting doing it over Zoom because it's a completely new environment to do that sort of thing in, because I know myself, I've done a lot of in-person auditions, and so having to do it all online and having that kind of barrier between everyone involved was a little bit difficult at first, but you just had to find ways around it. But the staff that we met in our callback were absolutely wonderful. They were doing everything they could to make us feel comfortable, and they were making sure that everyone was in a position where they were able to do the best that they could, which I thought was really, really wonderful.
Thank you, Kale. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Susan. And we know you may have more questions. I'm going to suggest that we all try and make our way to rehearsal room 7 and see if there's any singing going on. And if you have other questions, just find us. We're all in the building for a few hours yet. Or you can email us questions too. Is that right, Susan? Yeah. Thank you, Ash.